Hey there, how are you doing today? In my desk, I have another function generator. This one is the PSG9080 and was sent by the nice folks at Juntek. I have to confess that I tried to review this device last year. At the time, it wasn't possible, but now here it is, and I will give you my 5 cents on this function generator. I have high expectations for this review. For what I saw already and read about this device, I think that it probably has very good ratio between features and price. Let's see if it confirms. Said enough already. Let's do this and not waste another second. As usual in the channel, let's start by unboxing the function generator. This is a big box, so I will fast forward this. It comes very well packed. It starts by having the usual quality control from Juntek, certification pass. Okay, let's leave this here. The user manual seems pretty good. It's in English, well organized with colors. It probably has, yeah, it seems very good. Okay, we'll see this later. We have the unit here. It's a small unit and some cables. Let me take the box out of the way. Okay, also inside was this small adapter. I think this is a Wi-Fi adapter. I will see after in the configuration. Let me take out of the bag. I'm being lazy now. Okay, let me show you. Yeah, this seems to be a Wi-Fi adapter. Yeah, I will see after where I can use this. Okay, the usual power cable for Europe. And yeah, with Hertz. We have BNC to alligator clips and a USB cable type A to type B and a BNC to BNC cable also supplied. I will use this. Yeah, let me take it out already. So in the box, what do we have? We have the units also. Let me do just a first impression of this. Okay, this device is mainly plastic. Yeah, it's pretty light. I can see here that this part it's like rubber or plastic, more rubbery like. It will not allow the device to slide a lot. You can press without sliding. Yeah. So yeah, this seems nice. I will explain this part after. The keys are rubber or rubber-like, yeah, and have a very good feel. We have also this knob. Yeah, we have the normal handle, yeah, to give better positioning. And this should come out also in some position. Let me see. It's not this one, I don't know, but one of these positions should allow you to take the handle off. I don't know which, doesn't matter. Just put it like this and it will not take space. So in the back we have the power. We have also a TTL extension. We have here the pins reference, okay, and the sync in and out also can be powered by a 5 volts power supply, and you have the USB connection. I think you have a software to run this device on PC. I will see that later, and if it has, I will show you here in the video. It is good that it has a hard switch on and off. It's a mechanical one, and you also have in the front a soft switch on and off. Okay, we have the input and output, but I will show you this better more ahead. Yeah, pretty nice. Let's start to see how it works. Okay, so I have here the power cord already connected to my socket. Let's power this on. Okay, so let's start by taking this off. I have a little problem grabbing this. Let me see if I don't damage anything. Ooh, yeah. So it's mine now. Okay, let's start by powering this on. Very nice detail. When you power on, it asks you with language you want to start. I will start with English, of course. And yeah, it has a very big sound. We have here the channel 1 and channel 2 buttons. They have lights on each of them. Yeah, it's a very nice detail. I will start by seeing how to take this sound off. Let me see if I can. Okay, not like this. Down and off. Yeah, save. Yeah. Right now it's 1:30 a.m. in the morning, and this beep it's quite annoying for the rest of the house. Now that we have this power on, let's start by talking a bit about the design and the layout and keys and this stuff like that. We start by having here the power button, obviously. We have in this zone the function, the menu soft keys. Those are the function keys. We have here the area for channel control, output channels, input channels, numeric keypad, and we have a knob that is not clickable. Okay, so in terms of keys, we also have here the shift key that allows you to have a second function for every one of these keys, and we have some that have double functions like this one, the direction key. If you press it for a bit, you will lock the device. You have here the symbol that is locked, and right now you cannot do anything. Just press it for a bit and it is in lock, as you can see here. In terms of screen, you have a screen with 3.5 inches. This is 480 pixels by 320. You have in this zone, in this area, the soft key menu. In here you have the frequency, amplitude, offset, and duty cycle. In here you have the visual representation of the waveform created, and you also have the phase. To edit these values, you have here the soft keys menu. For example, to edit the frequency, just press the frequency key, and you can rotate with the knob or just insert the desired frequency. For example, I want 40 kappa hertz. You have here the input box, and then just press the kappa hertz key and it will adjust immediately. And the same is true also for the rest of the values. For example, if you want to set 2 volts peak to peak, just come here to amplitude and select VPP. If you want millivolts peak to peak, you also have that option. Okay, that's it, and you selected 2 volts peak to peak. The same for offset and all the other options. In here you have the channel information, channel 1 and channel 2. Right now it's off. This little hand indicates in which channel you are selecting the values. So if you want to select another channel, just press the channel and the hand will move. Okay, just press the key again. If you press again on the selected channel, it will turn the channel on or off. We have here this key, it's the out, and if you press it, it will automatically turn the two channels on and off. As you can see, the channels have light. This is a very nice feature. I like very much when the devices have this light behind. When working, it will help to see the status of the channel, of the situation. In terms of waveform selection, you can see here in the display that 00, it's the sine wave. So if you know the number of the waveform that you want, you can select the waveform directly. Just press, for example, 1, wave, and OK. And you select the one that is a square wave, for example, 15, OK. And we have here an exponential rise, and so on. As you can see, it's pretty easy if you know the numbers. Don't worry if you don't, because you can always come here to the wave menu, and you have here pre-selected the most common waveforms. You have here the PWM with selection of duty cycle, the square wave, the sine wave. I think this is the triangle, I don't know right now, and the arbitrary. Okay, so for example, if you just want a square wave, just press the square wave button. Again, sine wave. It's pretty easy to select, it's intuitive. Okay, I have here my Rigel already in place to test. I'm just gonna connect the supplied cable with the Juntek. I'll try to connect. Yeah, this in channel 1 and also here in the output of channel 1. Yeah, nice. So let's test this and see how the different waveforms behave. Right now everything is off. Let me connect channel 1 to auto. Yeah, let me see if this, yeah. Okay. I have to set channel 1. It's already in one time. So we have here the waveform, the pulse. Let's change this to a waveform. Okay. Let's move this to the 80 megahertz. That's the maximum to see how it behaves. Okay, auto again. It seems to have a nice waveform. Let me just take this to the maximum. Okay, right now this is with 1 nanosecond, and yeah, it has a quite perfect waveform at the maximum. It seems pretty well constructed, perfect, and it's at the maximum of the output. You can change also the waveform for square wave. It will say it's 80 megahertz, but it will not work until you change this to 30 megahertz. Let me see. Yeah, it's 30 megahertz. Let me just do a auto. It's not the most perfect square wave. Let's try to decrease this. Let's change this to, I don't know, 100 kilohertz. Yeah, 100 kilohertz. It will be a nice square wave. I know that you guys probably don't see the vertical lines, but they are here. It's only because of the image, the camera but they are here, and the square wave, it's fairly well defined. One thing that I noticed is that the frequency, it's quite correct here. For example, let me pass this to a sine wave, and let's increase this like 40 megahertz. And okay, as you can see, yeah, it's really stable, 40 megahertz there. And yeah, it seems quite accurate. Let me just take this to 80 megahertz. Yeah, current 80 megahertz. So it seems to be accurate. I don't know, it says average. I have some trouble reading the small letters, to be honest. I think one of the things of this function generator is that the frequency is quite accurate. This oscilloscope can go up to 300 megahertz, so 80, it's totally fine, no problems about it. Yeah, it respects well the rule of the 3 to 1, so it total has the capacity to work with a signal like this. Yeah, so let's see what else we have here. And we have also the pulse. When you use, for example, the frequency is set to 80 megahertz, but since the pulse only supports up to 30 megahertz, it will create a sine wave always. So we have to go here and pass the frequency to 30 megahertz. Again, this is not very good. Let's see 1 megahertz, what we get. Well, 1 megahertz will give you a very nice pulse. Let me just change here the duty cycle. Yeah, you can see the duty cycle changing. Notice that it will change also here in the display of the function generator. It will preview what you will get. Okay, what else we have? We have the tooth saw also. Seems okay. Let's take this to the maximum of the tooth saw. Or triangle. I think this is the triangle wave. Sorry. Okay. Let's megahertz. Yeah, it looks like more a sine wave at 20. Yeah, it's a triangle, but well, very softly. It will get better at 10 megahertz. What else we have? And we have the arbitrary. For arbitrary, we will play with this when I have this PC software installed. So right now I will test some other stuff. I will test the counter and the measure that I told you before that we will see how that works. And yeah, we have some other functions, some other neat functions to see here in this device. Well, now I have here my Rigol and my Owen function generator, and I have this setup to show you the sync feature. You have in this socket a connection directly to my function generator, my Owen, and this one is outputting the signal to my Rigol. So the idea behind all this setup is when moving something in this function generator, he will translate the signal up here to the Rigol. How can we do this? First of all, you have to change the configuration. You come here to page down, and you have here the frequency sync, amplitude sync, offset sync. Well, you have several sync functions in here. You can change it like this on, but you have to go for each one of it, and it's easy if you just use the software. I have here the software. please take notice in this part where in the image shows the function generator in this section, and using the software I just activate very quickly all the sync functions, and as you can see here in the function generator they are all activated. So now that we have the sync functions activated, we just go here to voltage control panel. We start by setting 1 kilohertz start frequency, 10 kilohertz end frequency, and now we need to calibrate these values according this function generator. To do that, let me first put this in logarithm, and using the cursor functions, we start with the voltage minimum calibration. As you can see in here, I set up a 10 kilohertz signal. It's a sine wave with 5 volts VPP, and right now we have 0 as offset. We just need to press here in the measure. Okay, he calibrated the minimum. Let's take this to the maximum calibration, and in here let's do something like 2.5 volts offset this location. So right now we have this on Vmax calibration, and just press measure again. Okay, right now we have this calibrated. I will start here the frequency, and please take notice I will change my Owen using the knob, but please notice here the value of the offset changing as I do it. You will see that the sine wave will change also, because the frequency, this one, is synced with the offset of the Owen. So let's do this. Okay, as you can see, the time division is changing as I change my values of the offset in here. Yeah, we can do the same for example, if we come here and use the amplitude, amplitude, and the amplitude changes as I change also the values in my Owen, because it is synced through all the cables. Again, so this one is outputting signal to this socket that is dealt here and outputted to the Rigol. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Okay, now I will show you how to use the counter and the measure functions. We will start by the counter. I will change this socket. This one comes from the Owen, this PNC, and I will change the port to the gray one. Okay, here it is. So what we will do now, for that we will start with the measure. As you can see, it is already measuring the bandwidth. So the bandwidth can go up to let me see, 20 megahertz. Okay, I have this now at 20 megahertz, and yeah, it's not working. Yeah, 10 megahertz it's working. Let's see where I can take this to the maximum. 15. Sorry, I told you that it was about 20, but I think it's 15 megahertz maximum. So it can read frequencies up to 15 megahertz, I think. 16, 17. Oh, I thought that this one can go up to 20 megahertz. But every time I try to pass the 16, he will cut the signal. Anyway, so another function that you have is the controller, the counter, sorry, not the controller, the counter. You can select the counter by shift measure, okay, and you have here the counter, or just use this key to alternate between the counter and the measurement. To use the counter, just oops, AC/DC, and on. As you see, it's counting. I will lower this to 1 Hertz, 1 cycle per second, and as you can see, it's counting every cycle. If I do an upgrade to the bandwidth, increasing it, yeah. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty easy to use. We can do a reset here, turn it off, reset, turn it off, on, and yeah, that's about it. Right now, I will show you how the sine waves will look when using both channels at the maximum bandwidth available, also with the same amplitude. So right now, I have this at 80 megahertz both channels, and with 3.6, that is the maximum amplitude for this bandwidth. Everything is in place. Let's turn the channels on. So you can see there is a slight phase dislocation on the channel. I will change the first, I will put both channels one over the other, so you can see there is really a phase displacement. And now I will try to put both channels one over the other, so we can see if the signals are good enough. Yeah, we can see that the signals are not exactly equal. They have here some slight, different curves, but in general, this is a 80 megahertz signal. You can see it here that it's recording the 80 on channel 1. In general, I think this is okay. Some people may disagree. I totally accept that, but yeah, for me, I think for the price that we have in this device, 80 megahertz bandwidth, and with some quality the signal, to be honest. It's nothing serious. It has a perfect sine wave. Yeah, that's okay. Well, to be honest, I don't have much more to show. I think right now we will see how the software in the PC handles. To install the software in your computer, just go to Juntek with an S in the end .com. Let's try English. It will be easier for us. Okay, and we have here in technical services download. If you come here, you have the PSG9080 programmable function arbitrary wave signal generator. Just press here. You have a new window, and you have first the English manual. You have a manual on paper, but if you want in PDF, you have here the English manual. It will have an issue, as I will show you in a bit. It's in Chinese, even if it says it's the AN version, but you also have here the PSG9080 AN setup.zip that you can save to your computer and has the software to install. If you want, you have also the access to the server download link. I don't know why they call it server, because it's downloaded from their server. The APK file for Android installation. You have also here the Android link to install on your mobile phone, and they tell you how to get the file to install on iPhone. Okay, now that we have the file on our computer, just locate the setup.zip that you just downloaded and use 7-zip to unzip the file to a new folder. Here it is. Let's enter. And on this new folder, you just have here the autorun. You have the English version and the Chinese version of the software. Let's just run the autorun. Say that we want to run this in English, and I want the English main program. This can be installed on a USB drive, for what I understand. I agree with the terms. You don't have any terms, so yeah, agree. Next. Okay. Let's put here TechCornerTV. Next. Okay, the drive where I will install this, and okay, current user. Next. Okay, this was a fast process. Just press finish, and we can close this. I don't know really how, but okay, like this. Okay, so let me just open again. Yeah, it takes only a few seconds, and yeah, I will put it here in this corner. How this works? First of all, you have to select the port. It shows you the available ports. Right now I have COM1 and COM7. I will choose the COM7. As you see, he gave the green light. And after the port is selected, you just use connect. Okay, you have here my serial number, my model. That's everything okay. To be honest, I really like this software. It's pretty easy to use and very usable. Sometimes it's not something very common in this kind of software. To change the bandwidth, you just come here to the box and, for example, press 1 and enter. Please notice the image and is immediately changed. So I have to change this sine wave, so the time division, so it can work. For example, now with 1 megahertz, if I change the phase to 0 degrees, it will be both lines one over the other. Yeah. Okay, moving on. So you can turn the channel on and off in here pretty easily. You have all the values here to adjust frequency, amplitude, offset. Everything is very accessible. Well, you have a fine-tune knob here also, and you can select here pretty fast the waveform that you want. As you can see, the update in the system is quite fast. What I will do now is show you the modulation. You just connect here, the modulation, and you can change the frequency, the shape or sharp for them. Yeah, like this, sine wave, for example. Oops, sine wave. And well, a lot of options available, obviously, on the device. You have it here by channel, channel 1 and channel 2. You can turn the modulation on and off for each of the channels, and you can change every detail in here also. As I told before, this software is really easy to use. We have here the measurements, and the counter is also in here. Again, I don't have right now the function generator connected to here, so I can create some signal. And you can also sweep in here. You just connect this on, and you have the sweep and voltage control here in this section. You have several options. I will leave in frequency 1 and in the end frequency and run. And right now, let me just do a auto. It's doing a sweep on the triangles. Another part that works pretty well, it's the arbitrary. I will show you in a bit. Let's just see here the sync. The sync, it's something that you can also control here. As you can see, when I press, it disconnects here. Nothing special. And also you have here the basic setup, how many built-in waves you want to use and how many arbitrary waves you want to use. You can clear the memory, the memory number, and also you can adjust the brightness here directly on the software. You have English and Chinese as language, and this works pretty fast. As you can see, we can change immediately on the device the language, and you have here the wave load methods, auto or fast. Okay, we have the programming modes. It works more or less as I showed before using the controls on the function generator, but you have also here an interface for that. And you have the update and software version also available in here. And finally, the arbitrary mode. And this one functions very well. I'm quite impressed with this, the way this works. Okay, you can create any waveform. It's pretty fast to do that, and you can do whatever you want with the waveform. As you can see, it works pretty well. Okay, and you can do one like this, one like this, and apply functions in there using the two waveforms. When you are, I'm gonna reset. Okay, this is my waveform now. I will pass it to here. And when you are okay with it, you can say in which memory you will write this waveform. Okay, I will write this one on memory 1. It's recording on the device, the waveform. Okay, it gives you a beep, and you have already on the screen my waveform. Okay, and I have my weird waveform on the screen. So, okay, let's reset this. I want to do something different right now, like this, and write again in memory 1. It takes a bit. Yeah, and auto. And there it is, my waveform. It's very easy to work. You can also read from the memory of the function generator to the software. You just indicate here the position, and he will fetch the waveform that you have. You can save it to file or load from file. I like very much of working with this. It's very fast and quite responsive, as you can see. And you can send the waveform to the PC very easily. And yeah, in terms of software, that's it. I don't have anything else to show you. So let's move on. To be able to use the iPhone application or the Android application, you have this small Bluetooth module that can be connected to the extension socket here in the back, and it works like that. Let me just power it on. It has this light when working, and you can use your mobile to detect. As you can see, it is already here, and now it says it is connected. I will show you in the screen how it works. So let's start by opening the application. In the application, we go to search, and we have already here our Bluetooth module. It connected to the, as you can see, it's already connected to the function generator. We can use this to change, for example, in here, let's change something. Okay, as you can see, it's changing the waveform in the function generator. Yeah, and increasing the frequency. You can control it directly from the mobile phone. Yeah, you can create modulation, you can do a lot of stuff like you do on the PC. Also, you are able to control the second channel. I don't know exactly where you turn on and off the channel, to be honest. And yeah, we have in the second screen the measurement mode. Let me turn it on, and as soon as I turn it on, you can see in the screen changing the for that mode. I also can activate the counter mode, as you can see, or take it off. Yeah, and we go to the main page. Well, it's with the less functions that you have on the PC. I don't see here how to turn the channel on or off, to be honest. There are some things here that I cannot... okay, we have to press it for a while. Let me change the waveform. Okay, I'm getting there. And if you press for a while, you can select the parameters on each field. Okay, that's more like it. Now I'm starting to understand how this works. And yeah, you just press, let's turn this on, just press here, and yeah. Okay, so the application, as you saw, it's pretty simple, but allows you to control with your mobile phone the function generator, and that's a nice feature. I didn't see any of the previous function generators that I work with to have this feature. So without any additional cost, you have it for free. So in short, I must say that the PSG9080 was up to the task. I had very high expectations about this device, as I told you in the beginning of the video, and to be honest, it didn't disappoint me. In test equipment, as in life in general, you get what you pay, and that is always my mindset when I do a review and test equipment. How I see things is that you have to relativize. In this review, the strong selling argument of this device is that you get a very nice programmable arbitrary function generator packed with features and very easy to use for a very accessible price. For me, this is a winner, no-brainer. 80 MHz bandwidth with all the bells and whistles for about 150 to 200 euros, depending on the promotions you get on AliExpress. It's awesome. The overall quality is good and stable, and I'm very well impressed with it. Like always, if this video was useful to you, don't forget that now you can support the channel with the thanks button down here. Your help is really appreciated, but don't stress out. You can always slap that like button to help the channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that bell to activate all notifications and to be the first one to be notified whenever I post a new video. That's it for today. I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, stay safe. Cheers.